It was a hell of a ride for my first stop. The first 3 lives that I managed to save were 3 famous musicians. One was the bass player and a founding member of one of the famous metal bands, Slipknot, Paul Gray, who, in my timeline, sadly died of heart failure in his hotel room in Iowa. He was the reason that I actually started playing bass guitar, and ironically, him and I are both lefties. So that was badass. Only thing I regret is that I never got to meet him in person, but now with time travel, I managed to call the ambulance just in time at the hotel he was staying at to save his life. Of course, I had to change my voice so that they wouldn't trace it back to me. I stood at a far distance at the hotel that he stayed at. I was in my civilian clothes as I witnessed it all with my small binoculars. I then saw the ambulance pull up. And that's when I saw Paul step out of his room. Wondered what the hell was going on. And then it happened. I saw Paul feel his heart starting to hurt, and the paramedics started getting to work. I'm happy to say that he survived it, and that he'll even get to meet his soon-to-be-born baby daughter with his wife. Yes, Paul was going to be a dad at the time, in my timeline, just when the attack happened. But now it'll be a loving moment. The second jump I made was one of the most famous bands of all time as well. The singer of Linkin Park, Chester Bennington. I don't know why he did what he did, but of course we know that he sadly committed suicide. And yes, I learned where it happened. I got to his house in Palos Verdes, so I had to disguise myself as, of course, Ghost. I was shocked to witness Chester already putting the noose to his neck. I had to hurry. I went to his window, and just as I was going to enter, he saw me. He was already barely hanging. I broke the window, entered quickly, and used my sickle to cut the rope. Thankfully, he was still breathing, coughing, but alive. I already called the ambulance ahead of time, and they were already outside in front. He was looking at me. I was shaking because I just saved the second guy who I've listened to since my childhood, and now him in my arms. He sputtered out. What the hell? He said, while a bit scared, trying to catch his breath. No, I'm not the Grim Reaper, sir. But I did just save your life, Mr. Bennington. Remember, this is all just a bad dream. Once you wake up, you'll see your family right beside you. I whispered to him. As I heard footsteps coming up the stairs, I grabbed the time travel device and made my exit. Let me tell you, Chester Bennington and Paul Gray are the heart of my childhood. So without them, I guess I would have turned out differently. Liking whatever you young adults listen to these days. Thank God for rock and metal music. Next was someone I had a crush on since I was in middle school. Her name was Christina Grimmie. I'm sure most of you have heard of her. That no-good son of a bitch shot her dead during a meet and greet. His name was Kevin Loibl. He shot himself. Cowardly bastard. But not on my watch. I set the coordinates to the day that she was supposedly going to die. But not this time. I was lurking in the shadows as I saw Christina perform, and her voice, man, I felt like I fell in love all over again, just like in middle school. I was watching that no-good son of a bitch. The concert was then over. She started to do signatures for fans and photos. I lurked behind, and I saw Kevin already about to strike. I then pressed my switch watch, and Ghost Grim Reaper appeared. Kevin pulled out his sidearm and was about to fire, but I managed to tackle him down before he did. I broke his arm, which then let go of his pistol, and I slammed his face on the ground multiple times. I got up and looked at Christina. Outstanding performance you did. And you're welcome. I told her as I took a quick bow, and I rushed off to the exit as I saw security coming my way, finally disappearing. So now Christina lives longer, thankfully. And possibly in the new timeline, she might go against, Eilish if they meet. Anyway, I managed to get a far distance to my final stop before heading back to my timeline. I punched in the coordinates on this special one. This next one is, well, might not be suited for younger listeners. Because where I went next, and what I witnessed, this one was the reason I'm doing this. In certain extreme situations, the law is inadequate. Okay? In order to shame its inadequacy, it is necessary to act outside the law to pursue, well, natural justice. This was not vengeance. Revenge is not a valid motive. And it's not an emotional response. No, see, this was not vengeance. But instead, punishment.